men out there, it's not that we're not bad.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's what we are conditioned to that now, you know, kind of defines the kind of people that we are, and that's what we know. You know, reality is, for example, your wife will not be ready, may not be ready, not all of them, may not be ready for sex for like a whole whatever. It could be 5 months, it could be 1 year. And men do not. So when you say that to your fellow men, some will be like, oh my gosh, really?
Practices that you have in your life that get you to kind of understand and empathize with your wife.
Yeah. I mean, it's like a two-sided coin, to be honest, because of course you'll be frustrated, of course, as a man. You're like, man, what do I do? But at the same time, you kind of have to understand what your woman has gone through. It's not easy. They're going through a whole transformation of their body that they've never experienced before. And they just don't feel comfortable, don't feel like themselves. They don't, maybe, everyone has their own journey, of course. Maybe they don't love themselves and they look at themselves in the mirror, which is something, I mean, it's a journey. But it is what it is. So I don't know, it depends on the kind of person you are. You could, there's also a lot of happiness already with having a child in the house that you kind of forget about these things. You even realize you're like, oh my gosh, it's been 2 months. I didn't even realize it. So I think that you of course you have to try and keep that connection with your partner if you're together, of course, and try and keep it, you know, flamey and still buzzing. It's difficult because also in the early stages, also the mom is so much involved with the baby. You are just like, by
that's the thing, right? Yeah, that you start to feel like you're excluded
completely,
right?
And now you have to include yourself also. So that's so you pick up whatever you need to pick up within the house. If it's let's say, okay, I'm going to be the one to bathe this child when I come back home and put them to bed, and that fulfills your heart so much. It kind of even replaces that feeling of intimacy that you need. You feel you need with your wife. Of course, another way is to immerse yourself in the work that you do. Because those are energies that you can put into other things and you know and thrive in it. And for me, for example, this whole project of further studies came from all this, and I just put all my energies there, and I was focusing on them, you know, on my son, and you know it bore the fruits that it did, which is the music and everything.
Let's take it to further studies now that you've taken us. So when it comes to further studies, and that specific project and the way you kind of envisioned it, what was the objective? What was the purpose of that project? What did you want to achieve when you started down that road?
So the project was, again, fully inspired by my son and the experience that I had at that point, because he was 5 months old at that point, and it's fully inspired by him. And in that way, it is so personal. It is literally just about him, first of all. And the rest of the world will pick what they need to pick. But it's about him. In a way that I'm expressing this kind of love to him, so that when he's old enough to understand, you know, then it can have some kind of whatever impact or whatever song, whatever moment in the music that he will feel at that point in time when he's going through whatever he's going through, and be like, okay, I have this kind of love, you know, behind me to push me through, you know, to get me out of this. So it's mainly dedicated to him. But now, of course, by default is to also really inspire young African men to be intentional in their parenthood, to be vulnerable. And as African men, of course, there's a Pan-African angle to it with the whole project. And to break stereotypes in society. And just live freely and happily as a man without prejudice, without judgment of, you know, what will my fellow men friends say when, you know, I have to rush home to change the diaper, I have to rush home to put the kid to sleep, I have to rush home to do this, or I can't come for a drink up because I'm not babysitting, it's your kid. I am, you know, I'm the one at home tonight because my wife is going out. You know, such kind of things. Just to be in a comfort place as a man and not just to worry about what will other people say. So that's just to inspire young men to look at it differently. Because also now, as how we were brought up, our generation, from our parents is very different. You know, it was hardcore, and you want to change that experience. Everyone wants to be a better parent. Yeah, whatever that looks like for you. I'm not saying that they were not any better, but you just want to, in terms of progressed, and you want to give something different for your kids.
Yeah.
What's one thing, because everything we've heard so far has just been incredible in terms of being a father, but what's one thing you wish somebody told you before you became a father?
That I won't sleep.
Zero
sleep.
Yeah.
No, I'm serious, but the sleep, it's like, it's madness. Parents can relate, because by the time, depending on how the kid is, they're different characters. When you sleep train, not all of them get into the training, or they get it at different ages.
Yeah.
And you still have to hustle even harder than before. So you have your 3 hours of sleep, or 5 hours of interrupted sleep after every hour, all these things. But I think, what would be the main takeaway? Is just involvement, to be honest, because in these early stages, again, the bond is formed then with the child. The mother already, the bond has been there. He was in the womb, or she was in the womb, the kid was in the womb, and again, there's breastfeeding. Even if the mom does not talk to the child, they have a connection, like 100%. But you have to work for it as a man.
Wow.
You really have to, and that comes from you connecting with the child as soon as they're born. I remember now, when my son was born, I was actually the first one to hold him and put him on my chest. And that is already a serious connection, because who's
feel
this?
It? Yeah. You could feel that.
Yeah, it was mad. It was that spiritual realm we're talking about.
Which you have dwelled in.
It was something else. Like, I can't explain that feeling. It's a feeling you will never experience in anything else ever in your life.
Wow.
It's something, if you let yourself be in that moment and actually experience it and enjoy it, it's such a beautiful moment.
Polycarp, you're not speaking from the perspective of a bewildered young man or someone who's young, because of the achievements that you've had as a member of Sauti Soul, and the achievements you have musically, and the exposure you have as a musician going to France. So for you to say that this is one of the most meaningful, if not the most meaningful,
it is the most meaningful, 100%
of your life, then that just tells you, just how valuable fatherhood is to you. So I just want to pivot that with, could you define, if I asked you right now to define fatherhood as per your perspective, what would that definition be?
The thing is, it's so intense that I can't even find words. I'm trying to find words for it. But it's a spontaneous question, but I'll try. I'd say fatherhood is extremely selfless.
Wow.
It is, I think, it's the most selfless thing you'll ever do in your life, because you are giving your all energies, be it physical, be it emotional. You're just giving and wanting to just be this better person every day, of course, but just wanting the best for your child, that you would literally do anything, and that's being selfless. And dads are extremely selfless when it comes to their kids, and as much as maybe they're not celebrated, unfortunately, as much, but dads are very selfless in this, and sometimes you don't even want that praise, it just
comes naturally, right?
It just comes naturally, and you're like, this is what I'm supposed to do. It's, at the end of the day, we're also part of the animal kingdom, and that's what what the male does. Just protects and gives and gives and gives. So I think the number one thing that comes is selfless.
Wow,
that is a real.
That is a real.
That is a real. Ladies and
I
gentlemen.
know it.
Mantalk moment.
Polycarp, with everything you're doing in terms of fatherhood and dedicating this to your son.
Yes.
What kind of man are you hoping this young guy turns out to be?
These things, he could be a rascal for all I know, and be like, I don't care what you do. But I want him to be very comfortable in his skin, number one, in his black skin, to be this very loving and, someone who cares for people that love him as well, people around him. And just be the best version of himself he possibly can, and know that anything is possible. Anything can be achieved, and always like give him assurance, and always, what is this thing called that we say in Instagram? To torture someone, what is it? But you always tell them that, that's to gas them up.
Gas them up. There it is. Yeah.
But always like, tell them they are great, they can do it, Because that assurance as a kid, man, something as small as even walking down the stairs, for example, that's the stage where we are at, and our house is like really big stairs. And he just needs encouragement that you can do it. Just go one step at a time. And that's how life is. It's one step at a time. So just to always encourage them and tell them that anything they want to achieve is possible, and they are as great as any human being anywhere in the world.
And I see you've done it in 2 languages. You know what I mean?
Yes. So far, there's still more coming.
Come on, global.
I mean, it's crazy. I took a look at the book. I have no children, so I didn't even know. I'll be honest, I didn't even know that not only are you, these fancy fingers have been doing a lot. They're cooking, they're writing, and they're breaking the sound barrier with riffs.
Yes.
So, like, the book. Let's talk about the book, Limeandikwa kwenye nyota, or Written in the Stars.
Yeah.
What the title? First of all, the title, the cover page, everything about it, and it seems very intentional.
Yes.
Could you talk a little bit on that?
Yeah, actually, there's so much about this book actually. So with the name, so when I was doing now the whole project, which is Father Studies, which is now the music and extensively literature and later on podcasts, just like you guys, talk about these topics that need to be spoken about. Written in the Stars so this is a story of a child coming now into your life, and men around your life coming to support you. Because if you open the book, every character is a man. In my life.
Or an animal.
Or an animal,
I can
so
see
the animals are the spirit animals of the
men
in there. But also, of course, kids love animals and stuff like that. But it's kind of like, I call it like a baba shower. That's what it is. Because even with baby showers, unfortunately we are in a way excluded, and we also exclude ourselves in the process. So like, why do I need to go for that baby shower? Like, I know it will all be just women friends of whoever we are going to see. All the gifts are directed always to the mother and the kids, and the man is just left on the side,
I think this
having
is
a beer on the side.
This is a concept. We are formalizing it right now.
Baba shower.
Baba shower.
It's very important, by the way. When when you're getting your kid and you're like, yo, guys, can you come through? We don't even have to say it. Eli will be there, and all your friends will be there to support you and to be like, we celebrate this child. So that's the whole concept. Well, one of the angles. There's so many angles to the book. Another angle is Written in the Stars is about naming of a child.
The naming day.
Yes. And in Africa, we have so many naming ceremonies and ways of naming our kids. So like in the Kikuyu culture, you name from your grandparents. There's a certain hierarchy
even
of
in
naming.
Meru, same thing.
Same thing, in my community in Luo, we name according to many things. So the time I was born. So if I was born at night, it's Otieno. If I was born during the day, it's Ochieng. So we wait. So if I'm born when it's raining, it's Okoth. If we are twins, there's a name. There are 2 names for that to express that. So it's now to put all these cultures together, with a Pan-African angle to it, and just educate people, our kids, the most of all, to understand how you're named. And even you as an adult, now you go back, maybe if you didn't know, and ask, why am I called Mburu? Why am I called Mutua? Where did it come from? And then later on, because your name really
Gives you power.
Gives you power, and you know exactly why you're named this.
Yeah.
So this is like a naming ceremony that now we, as men, we came together and decided the name of the baby.
Yeah.
You will read the book to find out.
You read the book to find out. So this is actually there's a series of it's a series of books called Papa and I series. So this is number one. This is just book number one.
Really?
With English and Swahili.
Amazing.
And there'll be many other languages, hopefully. And then, they are like, we wrote with Melissa Wakhu, who's like my co-writer, we've written 8 books already.
Wow.
And every song in the album actually is a book. Because the songs are stories. It's like How I Met Your Mama is a story. The Issues is a story.
The story.
Nitarudi is a story.
Yeah. You've also made a jigsaw puzzle. So
Yeah.
out. That's fun. I mean, I'd want to do this. Like, I feel like you're making me want to be a dad.
I know, right?
But for that, I must be ready for a relationship. So I'm going to put this back where I found it.
It's almost Valentine's. Where is your girlfriend?
Get away.
Yeah.
There's something you're onto, and there's something you're trying to achieve here, right?
That's bigger than Africa.
It's very clear. Like with the album, with the music, we're coming on pods like this.
Yeah.
So you're clearly trying to make a dent in society with everything you're doing. So I want to know, let's go in an ideal world. What does the society you're trying to create look like with all of these efforts?
Ideally.
Ideal.
So first of all, I'll say, number one, I am also doing this to heal myself as well. I'm not the SI unit. I'm not perfect. I have many mistakes that I make, but that doesn't mean that I cannot, push this agenda. So ideally, I just want a society where, of course, there's no gender roles, RIP gender roles, number one. And where men are more expressive in this family setting or fatherhood, or how your fatherhood looks like. I mean, it could be just you as a single dad, maybe just wanted a kid, or you've adopted, whatever, how that looks like, or you're not together with your partner, There are many scenarios. But just involvement of the dad, just men who are, because the role of a man for their kids is extremely huge. Like the absence of a man or like a deadbeat dad just completely, you literally have messed up your kid's life just by you not being there. Because they have many questions, they have many holes in their hearts, they have many spaces that they need filled, many questions that will never be answered because of your absence.
Only you can answer. Right?
Exactly. And with that, I mean, just eventually just creates a better society.
You're not passing on trauma from that person now to the next one, now to the next one. It becomes like a cycle.
It's an incredibly self-aware project you're doing. And it's also very benevolent. It's coming from a place of abundance. It's coming from a place of, I have experienced this beautiful thing. I want the rest of the world to experience it with me. And I honestly believe that this project you're doing isn't just for Africans. I feel like a lot of our audience is also American. And there's also the narrative that black men, even in America, struggle with the concepts of fatherhood. And you see,
and it's not even. I mean, anywhere in the world, be it white, be it Asian. Anyway, I just speak from
your perspective,
my perspective, which is what I've grown up in, which is the African setting.
So it might have an impact that's even larger than you imagine.
Yes, it does.
And you're so intentional with it. Even the cover page of you holding up your son,
like Simba.
Like Simba towards a star. It's so intentional, man. And I have to commend you for just the same passion you've shown in music, the same passion you've shown in your own life and your own relationship. You've now replicated it here when it comes to the question of tackling this issue of fatherhood. And man, big shout out to you, bro.
So even this, thank you, bro. So this is the album art as well. So this is the animated version. And with this image, I was also going, in the direction of breaking stereotypes, where because traditionally women in Africa are the ones who carry kids on their backs. It's like, why can't we do it? Let's say, I don't know, my wife is tired and she needs to sleep. Because she's been up the whole night breastfeeding. go for a walk, carry them on your back or walk with. I mean, you don't have to carry them like this, but just this is just about taking the
extra step.
just taking the power. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So that's the whole idea.
No, I can't thank you enough for what you're doing, because it genuinely, like Oscar's saying, it's making me excited for that phase of my life, because it's given such a positive spin to it. So I hope guys that like watch get that same feeling, get that encouragement, and they start to steer away from that stereotypical, I got this girl pregnant, etc., etc. And it turns into, I'm about to be a father, I'm not ready, but I'm excited. And there's literature and there's people that I look up to doing the same thing. When we're ending the podcast,
just a sec, before you close, it's something that I've realized is very important that I must ask. What is the role of material wealth and fatherhood? Because a lot of men won't care to even watch this if you don't clear the issue of you must have money so that you can be a present dad. So if you can just give us a point of view on that, it'd be very, very...
Actually, when you asked about misconception, I had that in mind, then it just disappeared. But that's the number one misconception. Number one. So also when you're about to be a dad and you say, I'm not ready, so you're thinking financial. That's your number one thing. It's like, I'm not living in a nice house. I'm not sure, my salary is not enough. I'll not be able to pay. First of all, kids, until they're 3-4 years old, but the expense ni kidogo sana. To be honest.
The expense isn't that high.
It's not that high. It's not that high, to be honest. And your game will step up. Another big misconception is that as a man, that is what makes you, fulfills you, or makes you a good dad. But there's nothing more precious that you can give your kids than your own time. Like nothing. Nothing. Even if you have nothing. Because these kids, they love you unconditionally. They don't care. They don't know the difference at my neighbor has a big car and I have like a small, car made from a carton, and that's what I have. They don't know this stuff.
They love you for free.
Yeah, they love you for free. That's exactly what it is. No, that's exactly what it is actually. They love you for free. So when you come back to work, you've had the worst day, and he gives you a kiss and he just wants to hang out with you. He's asking you for your time. Nothing else.
Does it give you like a certain, to talk about the material thing you just mentioned, which is amazing, like, do you get even now a certain energy to now make even more? I imagine when you have that kid, it's like, now I need to.
Yeah, 100. The drive is on another level, to be honest. And you see, even for me, for example, with this project, it's something that, because we have a life coach actually, but we see her also separately as, just single sessions. And she told me something very profound where she said, this is now the point in your life where what your soul wants is way more like stronger than your personality. Because there's what your soul wants and there's your personality. So it could be like, your personality is this calm guy who doesn't want to be out there, to talk to people, or you're an introvert, which is perfectly fine. But then your soul has a purpose that it needs to fulfill. And you can't fight it, by the way. You can't fight it. Just once you accept it, and then now your soul and your personality now come together and be like, okay, we're going to do this like this. Okay, cool. Fine. Yeah, let's sign a deal.
And the child is the one that kind of spurs that.
Exactly, Wow. And that's what happened to me, to be honest. It just came from wherever it came from, and I just heeded the call, and here we are.
Amazing.
Powerful.
Yeah. It goes without saying that what I'm about to ask you, this will be the number one recommendation, because at the end of any podcast, we say what's one thing someone needs to go listen to, watch, or just consume. This goes without saying, Written in the Stars, the album. But I want to know, because of the place you're at, it's such a healthy place as a man. What's like one piece of literature, a book, or anything that you've read outside of your own that has inspired you and that somebody else can go and read or listen to?
Yeah, man, 100. Actually, right now, I'm reading Will Smith's book.
Yeah,
it's so
it keeps
Every
coming up.
Every episode is
is it?
Yo, it's so good. I finished it.
It is amazing. And it's also within, there's a lot of fatherhood stuff there. But his life and his consciousness and his willingness. To just be, always strive to be better and be real with himself and say, okay, I messed up like this. I was this kind of person, I want to change. just
It's a great
beautiful.
example. Yeah.
It's beautiful.
I co-sign that
Yeah.
book.
Yeah.
You're in the middle as
I'm
well.
in the middle.
Yeah, I'm in the middle.
Don't ruin it,
I'm
guys.
quarter away. Quarter away.
Amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just want to say thank you for just being such a positive force, like Oscar said, from music to this. Just please keep doing it, because I think people listening to you talk, people consuming your content and your music, it's going to transform a generation, because like we said, you're one of the gatekeepers, and if it's a positive one, then it impacts a lot of people.
Thank you, man.
I have a lot to thank you for. First of all, thank you for the riff in Susanna.
Hallelujah.
Second, thank you for the intro to Lazizi. Third thing, thank you for the intro to Blue Uniform. Fourth thing, thank you for Melanin Riffs.
Come on now.
I
now.
can go.
now.
Don't ask me about Sauti, so I can keep going.
So you have to come for these lessons.
Listen. Don't threaten me with a good time. Don't threaten me with a good time.
Come to set with your fingers.
I got
you. Don't worry.
Yeah, fancy fingers. You know what I mean? Yeah, but like, thank you so much, Polycarp, for pulling up and for making time in your very, very busy day, and for being so productive. Like your album, you can tell like this is someone who's productive. You put out like music, and it's meaningful and it's impactful and it's that changed lives, and you as a person are changing lives. And like I've watched from watching you from the beginning, from 2008, from Wanzo, and just seeing you, like we've literally been watching you evolve day after day, year after year, man. And like it was such a pleasant surprise to hear you. Your perspective in the music that you've expressed. It was so refreshing. And as a Sauti Sol fan, just keep going, man. And
thank you guys.
man.
And you guys are doing a brilliant, fantastic job with this, man.
Thank you.
Brilliant platform that people are really loving. I love it myself. I'm honored to be here. With you
Honored
guys.
to have you, man.
Yeah.
I swear. This is a good conversation.
It was.
I hope these guys enjoyed it too.
It was.
All of the details of the books, etc., the album, everything's going to be down below, the links. Go and consume that content. And I really hope you enjoyed this conversation as well. We'll see you next week for another episode of Mantalk.ke. Peace.
Ciao.